After Putin learned that Merkel was afraid of dogs, he deliberately brought one into a meeting. Bioplastics made from avocado pits that completely biodegrade in 240 days, created by Mexican chemical engineering company. This is $1 in Venezuelan bolivars. Timber woman from Namibia. A snow leopard visiting a dentist in Finland. Law professor Roger Fisher suggested that nuclear launch codes be implanted in a volunteer's heart. The president would be required to personally take the life of an innocent person before taking the lives of hundreds of millions. An idea to prevent a nuclear war. My suggestion was quite simple. Put that needed code number in a little capsule and then implant that capsule right next to the heart of a volunteer. The volunteer would carry with him a big heavy butcher knife as he accompanied the president. If ever the president wanted to fire nuclear weapons, the only way he could do so would be for him first, with his own hands, to kill one human being. The president says, "George, I'm sorry but tens of millions must die." He has to look at someone and realize what what an innocent dealt is. Blood on the White House carpet. It's reality brought home. Richard Fisher, Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists, 1981. Never forget that part of the reason this system was never implemented was that when he presented it to his colleagues, their response was, if I recall correctly, "George, that's terrible. If he has to take an innocent life, he may never press the button." Terror was an 18th century French showman who could eat enough to feed 15 people and swallow cats whole, but his stomach was never satisfied. He was an insatiable glutton who ate everything from human flesh to live eels. Aerial view of a tire scrapyard. In 1960, David Latimer planted a garden inside of a bottle and sealed it shut. He opened the bottle and watered the plant in 1972 and sealed it for good. It has been a self-sustaining ecosystem for 60 years. Martin Shkreli repeatedly invoking the Fifth Amendment, visibly passing off the congressman. So surreal. Live Capitol Hill. Awaiting Shkreli to speak at House hearing on dog prices. NASA unveiled the new spacesuit for astronauts heading to the moon. This is what the largest dog breed in the world, Asian Shepherd dog, looks like. It is used to protect livestock because it can easily defeat wolves. The pyramids as seen from a Cairo street. Ramanatha Gavasha survived the sinking of a ship in 1871, leaving him traumatized afterwards. Some 40 years later, he was finally able to overcome his fears and sail again, only to die on the Titanic. At an event outside Tokyo in 2006, Akira Hiragachi set an unofficial world record for reciting the most digits of pi, 100,000 over more than 16 hours. In his mind, he linked each digit with a syllable and created a collection of epic stories from the words those syllables formed. Spam approaching the egg cell, who site, a few hours after repopulation. Photo, sent by Leonard Nelson. German photographer Berk Mobius photographed the moment when lightning, inside a rainbow, flew a plane. World's longest limousine, American Dream, 100 foot long, includes helicopter landing pad and jacuzzi, hinged in the middle, built in the 1980s. Facial reconstruction of one of the most elongated Pericus skulls in Peru. Poland completely cut the access of Belarusian to enter their country and fortified the borders. Keanu Reeves bows down to fans after getting a standing ovation in John Wick 4 premiere. started scanning old photos that had belonged to my great-grandparents and found this postcard of Mount Rushmore in progress, dates from late 1920s. Face of Washington on Mount Rushmore, 60 feet high, being carved by Gutzon Borglum. A Sicilian farmer showing to an American soldier where the Germans retreated, August 1943. Dogs make humans laugh on purpose. They acknowledge laughter and know it means play, and play keeps you positive. Capybara are a large rodent native to Central and South America. Capybaras are considered the friendliest animal on the planet, as they are docile and peaceful animals. Polish water tower. The tower is 63 meters high. It was equipped with an electric lift from the very beginning. From June 1906, the lift allowed people to reach an observation deck situated at a height of 42 meters. The look of Abraham Lincoln before and after the Civil War. Family portrait after World War I. In this grocery store, cashiers hang up flags at their registers to indicate the languages they speak. The US abortion rate in 1980 was twice that of 2017. The US abortion rate reached a historic low in 2017. Number of abortions per 1,000 women aged 15 to 44. This Walgreens store in Chicago used to be a bank. Walgreens uses the vault for their vitamin section called the Vitamin Vault. Found this at work. Only 2 of us knew what it was. View of Mount Fuji at ground level. Found a portal in the middle of the woods. Same shack. 4 different seasons. 20,000-year-old, car-sized giant armadillo fossil found in Argentina. That small dot is Mercury in front of the sun. Japanese ensure that turtles stay safe when crossing railway tracks. Japanese railway companies have started installing turtle tunnels for them to cross safely under tracks, avoiding turtle casualties and train delays. Injury at birth, left Ree with only the right ear. As she grew, it moved to the top of her head, making her a cute golden unicorn. Dog with double nose. The very first Little Caesars, Garden City, Michigan, 1959. Little Caesars pizza treat. Chicken, fish, shrimp, carry-outs, delivery. This house has its first written records on the 12th century and has been occupied ever since by the same family, now the 26th generation, in central Catalonia, Puig de la Bama. The UK government VIP transport aircraft can also refuel escorting fighter jets. The great-eared nightjar is pretty much a dragon bird. The great 1941 Packard 98-door open-top tour bus. The colors on this turtle's shell. Lunchtime at a California school, 1942, taken shortly before Americans of Japanese ancestry, including the pictured boy, were forcefully evacuated and imprisoned until the end of World War II in relocation centers. Evolution of corn in the last few thousand years. The Trolley offshore natural gas platform, located in Norway, more precisely in the North Sea, is the heaviest mobile object ever made by man, with an empty weight of 656,000 tons. First class suite on Singapore Airlines. scorpion mother with her babies. Scorpion can have as many as 100 babies in a single brood. They are born alive, rather than hatched from eggs like other insects. The breathtaking view of the Niagara Falls from the hotel room window. Half graffiti hotel room in Marseille, France. This is the clearest image ever taken on the surface of Venus. Adam Rayner was the only person in recorded history to have been both a dwarf and a giant. At 18 he was 4 feet 6 inches. At 50 he was 7 feet 8 inches. A hummingbird made from spoons. The Polish chicken is a breed of rooster that has a unique crest of feathers. Despite the name, its origins is in the Netherlands. Light pillars, an optical phenomenon, occurs in extremely cold environments. Tiny ice crystals form in the atmosphere and act as mirrors, reflecting any light from below. In Scotland, every baby receives a baby box containing baby clothes, blankets, towel, baby wrap, toys, bibs, or thermometer, nursing pads and other essentials. The box can also be used for newborns to sleep in. Microcosm and macrocosm in nature. Brain cell. The universe. Birth of cell. Death of start. Eye. Nebula. Jade-Opera, the largest avian sculpture in the world. During 2011 to 2013, Dylan Wheeler, a computer security and gaming enthusiast from Australia, formed Xbox Underground along with some other hackers, hacked into Epic Games, stole Gears of War 3 source code, then hacked into Microsoft to obtain sensitive information relating to Xbox One and Xbox Live. 784 inches of snowfall at the summit of Mammoth Mountain right now. Olympus Mons, on Mars. It's the largest mountain in the solar system and is about 22 kilometers high. Photo of an oarfish. Coffin office chairs. Perfect for that dead-end job. In 1971, Steve Chmeller used hardware, cloth and paper mache to create a large hand to wear at games and support his high basketball school team. This is the original prototype of the #1 foam dinger that we now all know and love. A two-headed turtle can form as a result of a fungus, a developmental defect, or a mutation in the egg. In turtles, this condition is known as dicephilism. In 1983, the CIA wrote an obscure report looking to the Gateway experience, claiming that an altered state of human consciousness may be able to transcend space and time. Decades on, the document has since been declassified. Frozen toilet. A picture of matchstick igniting by the friction surface of the box. The Soviet hydrofoils, a technological marvel abandoned to rust during the Cold War. The Soviet Union was a leader in hydrofoil technology, with nearly 3,000 vessels built for Russian and Ukrainian waterways. These passenger boats were capable of reaching speeds of up to 150 kilometers per hour. Photographer Matt Dave took this shot of a shark just before it emerges from water, breaking its surface tension. Some have said it looks more like a sculpture or a piece of art than a photo. The honeybees are being trained to sniff out explosives. Headquarters of the Union of Architects in Romania. Prince Randian, also known as the Living Torso, was a performer in American sideshows in the 1930s. Born in British Guyana in 1871, Randian was known as a human caterpillar because he was able to crawl on his belly like a reptile, despite being born without limbs. Castaway huts built by New Zealand into early 19th century. Castaway depots are huts placed on isolated islands containing supplies and tools for castaways or shipwreck victims. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, the New Zealand government built a string of these huts on their subantarctic islands. Once upon a time, there was an anti-electricity movement. An anti-electricity cartoon from the 1900s. Made up of 150 trees, this apartment complex in Italy is a literal urban treehouse. A size comparison between the Titanic and a modern-day cruise ship. This is a long-term exposure of an orange assembled into a galvanic cell powering a LED light at its center. Photographed by Caleb Charland. The Nock Nevis, the largest moving vehicle ever built, nearly half a kilometer long, and twice the length of the Titanic. Puffins make the most of a fishing trip by holding each fish in place with a muscular tongue pushed against the inward-facing spiny denticles of their beak while hunting for more. The two mandibles are hinged in such a way that they become parallel and hold a row of fish with equal pressure. During the winter of 1942, horses outcompeted cars in freezing temperatures. Hugging for 6,000 years, the male and female pair were discovered outside the city of Mantua, Italy, and are dubbed the lovers of Aldero. Experts don't know how they died. They are now on display in the Archaeology Museum of Mantua. Speed. This is how they filmed the movie. Took a business class flight. Springtime Alley in Malivas, Lesvos, Greece. Painters atop the Woolworth Building in New York City, 1926. My father had this poster for the i386. One picture that's worth 163 trillion words. The Intel 386. From Greek to Latin, visualizing the evolution of the alphabet. Evolution of the alphabet. Visualizing the odds of dying from various accidents. In 1978, Jim Christie discovered Pluto's moon of Charon using the low-res imagery in his hand. NASA's New Horizons spacecraft captured high-res imagery of Charon in 2015, which is displayed on his desktop. Roy Sullivan, an American park ranger, was struck by lightning 7 times between 1942 and 1977. He survived all of them and was nicknamed Human Lightning Rod. He's recognized by the Guinness World Records as the person struck by lightning the most number of times. A Victorian home being moved via horsepower in San Francisco, 1908. Convenience store 100 meters up for rock climbers in China. 1971. Curious Alice. A 70s database educational film portraying an animated fantasy based on the characters in Alice in Wonderland. Started basil, fairy moss seeds, in my arrow garden. A single purple basil sprouted. These library beds. I now need a library bed. German tankers building a model of a Soviet KV-1 to help them understand what they look like. Electricity mixed by state and province in the US and Canada. Fossil fuels, nuclear, conventional hydro, renewables. A feather up close. I think it's cool how the smooth and the downy parts are different. You never really realize how gargantuan trains are until you see one being shipped on the road. Rock art of an ancient Pueblo Indian deity called Heart of the Sky. Heart of the Sky is credited with inventing scalping and also having a literal star for a head. Dexter and Computerist Get Mandark is the only official source of entertainment to have been directed, written, Animated and narrated / voice acted entirely by a fan. Dexter and computerist Getman Dark. The largest tank fleets in the world. When he was 26 years old, Pete Maravich said, "I don't want to play 10 years in the NBA and die of a heart attack at age 40" in an interview. He went on to play 10 years in the NBA and died of a heart attack at age 40. Unreal facility comparison between last night's underdog win for FDU. White North Korean sons of US soldier who defected in the 1960s became captains of the North Korean army. RFID tag with and without backlighting. Snake eating a crocodile. Ranking of answer: premature mortality compared to HDI and world population area percentage of all countries 2022. After nearly 6 years since video release, briefing notes written by the pilots regarding the gimbal UFO video have been released through a successful FOIA request. Navy pilots reported to have encountered an exotic anomalous aerial vehicle on their classified briefing to their bosses. The only season of Persia's Got Talent was filmed in Sweden. Persia's Got Talent 2020 filming and production. Stockholm, Sweden. First season.